everybody! Welcome! I was late because I was editing and then I didn't see that Rocket Soup actually did upload the content archives, the book club, which I just uploaded to the Felicitations feed, and the creativity area thing that Bonnie and I did last month where we read tarot cards. So I kind of wanted that tarot card session to die a death because it was so awful. Some of the things that I pulled for people, including Rocket Soup, who I always will think of now as a sad horse. Um, Although I do like your avatar now with the cat with the glasses. Okay, that's better. It's healing. Healing event. Sorry. Oh no, that's okay, Rocket. I felt guilty. But I did make an archive on my own thing. So there you go. I did pull a great one for Clay Smell. So there you go. But I did just upload the book club and we will be doing felicitations. Nay. We'll doing felicitations momentarily. And I will. I will be doing this. God, okay, there's something wrong with my chair. Today is a day, but that's okay. Let's get to this. Let's get to this podcast, which is going to be great. I wish I could stream after this, but unfortunately, I have to put my child to bed, and she's great. She's great. I'm just a little overwhelmed. The summer has broken me in a little bit. Thanks, Cleveland, for asking. My neck is hurting again. I got some allergies. Typical. I'm not sick. And I actually walked on the treadmill for an hour and a half today while I was doing my work for the first time in my office, which is a cesspool. I have a Critical Role thing, Happy Holidays, that's still out. I'm not kidding. It's a box, not from this holiday, from last holiday. And I'm just looking at it like, what am I going to do with this? There's a candle in there, I think. I just need to pull the plug and throw it all out. Anyway, let me actually start the podcast, okay? Does everything start already? Let's see. Craig, join Geex events. It's recording. Okay. All right. Okay. It's recording. Thank you, Rocket. Okay, so I'm not going to do anything. I'm not going to type join channel Geeks events. Okay. Is Craig in here? Oh yeah, I'm looking at him. Hi, dude. All right, let's start this podcast. Greetings, everyone. Felicitations, etc. That's me. It's just me, Felicia Day, and this is my podcast. To the people out there who are listening, I hope you're okay. That's all I'm asking. That's all I'm saying. I am just a little bit in awe that it's September already. I feel like I lost my summer, lost my life a little bit to a lot of different things, which I don't want to dwell on them. I will tell you that I'm still adjusting to not having help watch my baby. It is hard, and definitely not as much Felicia solo fun this summer, but I feel like I've plateaued, new parenting plateau. I feel much closer to my kid, and I do appreciate her as a person in a new way. But also, she's like a real person now. She grew like 4 inches. I'm not even I mean, I am exaggerating, but it was at least 2. And I definitely can have conversations with her that are a lot more sophisticated. She doesn't, break down in tears all the time if something drops on the ground, unless it's ice cream or ice cream adjacent, like a snow cone. Okay, that's gonna cause some tears. And wouldn't they kill? Don't they cause tears in all of us? If we dropped an ice cream, the fact that we don't just sob is conditioning. Has been the conditioning of our emotions to be kept inside. Okay, because honestly, the heartache. And as an adult, listen, this happened the other day at the ice cream place. I did go back up to the counter. I was like, "Hey, my kid dropped her ice cream," and they gave me a new one. Would I, as a woman my age, be able to go up, "Hey, I dropped my ice cream," and they'd be like, "Yeah, here, give me another $5," right? So, so God bless the workers of America who will cut a kid some slack for not being completely physically coordinated by the age of 5 and giving her extra M&Ms. But, we're screwed. We're old, we're emotionally repressed, and we're screwed. And we are almost a year older. Yeah, it's just around the corner, y'all, 2023. And I hate to bring it up a whole tax quarter early, but it is very close. And just the idea that we're going into the holiday season is semi-traumatic at best. I will say that one of the big things that happened in August, other than all the things that I wanna talk about, which I can't talk about, which I'll go into later, but the biggest event of my year, was my kid starting kindergarten. And, hey, spoiler alert, she hates it. She hates going to the school, she doesn't have any friends, I hear copious I mean, it's been less than 3 weeks. And the first week she went to school, and she doesn't go on Wednesdays. I found the one school that will not force me to send her 5 days a week, so she goes which actually, now that it's enacted, is a real pain in my ass because I don't have anybody to watch her on Wednesdays, and I'm full-time mom on Wednesdays, which is good. It's good, y'all. Listen, I'm gonna look back and be like, "Thank goodness I had the privilege to be able to do this and spend the extra time with her." I mean, she can take an extra lesson, we just hang out. I think I'm just a little traumatized by the summer and all the trips that we took and all the sickness that we had. So anyway, the second week of school, she gets this awful cold, and I pulled my back out like a month ago, and it still is not good. So I don't know if I should go to physical therapy or go back to the doctor to get, like, an MRI, or should I do both things simultaneously? He prescribed me it was good for a while, and then it got bad again, and I'm not really sure. I know a factor is bending down and picking up children's toys constantly in my house. I know that is exacerbating it because it's clearly, like, between my shoulder blades, whatever vertebra, and anyway, let's go back to my child. I think she's gonna adjust. She is going to a Duolingo school not a Duolingo, that owl is not getting near my child. Um, although I do enjoy me a little Duolingo. Um, it's a dual language, so she's kind of the odd person out in that she doesn't know Spanish. So it is going to be a hard adjustment. I've talked to other parents about sending your kid to immersion, and it's a hard adjustment. She knew some vocabulary. I'm still keeping up a weekly lesson with a teacher, but kids aren't like, well, yeah, I get to sit down and learn a language today. You really kind of have to just be in an environment, and she's exactly where she needs to be. She just has to be there for 3 or 4 months and get some vocabulary. So, anyway, and the sad thing is that she was worried about making friends, and she's saying she's not making friends, and she's complaining about the other children not following the rules and being loud. I mean, she's my child. I don't like other kids either. I was never like, "Oh, good, I'm being accepted by the fold." I was always the outsider looking in, saying, "That girl's bow looks dumb." So, I I have this impulse to make life easy for her, and I know it's not the right impulse, like throwing money or, tutors or anything. There's no solution other than she's gotta live through some tough times to get to the times where she knows the language and she can connect with people, and these uncomfortable moments in life are where we grow and we really see who we are, and she's a little kid, so she gets to find out who she is or gets to define who she is by how she's reacting and learning that hard times are followed by good. So, yeah, it's, uh it's hard. It's hard to kinda just be like, "Yeah, I hear you. I really hear you. I know it's really tough. It's tough to meet new people." I get nervous, when I meet new people, which is absolutely true. And just know that the feelings that she's feeling, she's not alone in those feelings. There's a great Instagram woman called Dr. Becky, and if you're a parent, she's pretty awesome. I've recommended Janet Lansbury before for her podcast and for her blog. Dr. Becky does, Instagram parenting little videos, and I have to say they are very, very well thought out and very useful, and they're good ways to cope with some difficult times with kids of all ages. So, anyway, we'll see. I'm gonna give it 3 or 4 months, and, she's gonna do it. She's gonna do it. She's gonna be able to speak a language that I can't speak. I have decided to well, here's the kicker. I think I mentioned this before. She doesn't want me to speak any Spanish next to her, so I was studying on my own, and I know she gets intimidated when I can do things better than her because, I'm an adult, but she compares herself to adults. So, like, I have to hide that I'm studying Spanish, so and then now she's like, "I will not watch a TV show in Spanish. I will not talk." I will not speak any Spanish at home, so I'm like, "All right, I guess I'll put this to side, and now I'm gonna learn Polish because I have Polish relatives, and I really think it's kind of cool to discover this part of my family tree that is kind of undug into, and so I'm learning Polish with Pimsleur, and it is oh boy, it's hard. Y'all, this is not a romance language that I can kinda pick up pretty easily. I'm not saying I've ever been fluent, but I can, I can listen to a lesson and I can be like, "Yeah, that was the vocabulary," and not put enough effort into it to become any, conversation or whatever, but know a lot of vocabulary, okay? This is not that. I have been doing 1 lesson every 3 days. Shaprasham, 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 and I kind of, cannot remember any of it. I mean, I have been able to remember some of it by putting strange pictures into my head. Let me correct that to sound not creepy. I have like shaprasham. So I think about the Shah of Iran and a bra, because that's almost bra, and a pillow sham. And so I put those three visuals together to remember shaprasham, which is excuse me. And so that's all the vocabulary. Uh, I don't know what to say. I don't really have a methodology of reading it because the letters that go together do not make any sense to me, so I'd love to be able to kinda break down the alphabet and the sounds of it. I know a C with a little tail on it is cow because I'm American cow, a female American. Anyway, Shah bra sham. Yeah, it'll be an Iranian Shah wearing a bra on a pillow sham, and that is my and, I read that this was a technique to remember things. It really is, and yes, it's the slowest way to recall anything in the world, right? But after about 2 to 3 days, I don't know if it's some subconscious stuff, but I will wake up and be able to say the word without picturing it. If I get into trouble and I have to remember it and I'm like, "Oh, what was it?" I can bring up those visuals and I actually get them. I'm not saying I'm ever gonna be conversational in Polish, but at least I do have an excuse, and I really like impossible tasks, that way I don't have to actually see them through. Alright? So, it is dzień dobry. Dzień dobry is dzień dobry is hello. Dziękuję is thank you. So, yeah, you know what? I'm actually at 10, 15 words-ish. Ay, ay, ay. What else am I talking about? So, yes, the kindergarten thing was a big I'm on a PTA. I'm the vice president of the PTA, guys. Why did I volunteer? Because there was silence on the Zoom call and I got uncomfortable and I just started vomiting at the mouth like I'm doing right now. And it's really upsetting because God knows I don't need more responsibility or time sinks, but hey, Felicia, first to open her mouth, put foot in day. That's me. So, yeah, we'll see what kind of I mean, I'm kind of excited. I will tell you one thing I'm excited about. I really like baking, and I really do wanna do a bake sale just so I can, cook a bunch of stuff that Blippi won't eat that has, pumpkin or banana or, flavors. Because the only thing she'll eat is vanilla vanilla, and I'm like, "Okay, I'll pitch in some cookies. I'll do a day of bacon. Maybe I'll put bacon in it. Who knows?" I had something else really cool come out this month, and I really, really love to direct you to it, to the God of War recap, preparing people for God of War, Ragnaros, which is coming out November 7th or 9th or something like that. So, it's one of the coolest projects I got to do, and they actually asked me to do it after I started playing through the game, which was amazing, and I took this so seriously, y'all. If you go watch it, it's a really long video of me reading prose, and I got an acting coach, I worked with a diction coach, I lost at least 2.5 pounds, I got special hair extensions to make my hair long because I subliminally wanted to channel Nicole Kidman from the AMC movie things, and she's, so I don't know if you see that as a sort of an Easter egg, which was awesome. And, yeah, it was just so incredible. Now, the wonderful thing about the internet is I haven't done anything super high profile lately, COVID definitely put a damper on it, and within, 2 hours, some person had dug up one thing I said as a joke on, uh, Kind of Funny podcast. So, basically, there was this Kind of Funny podcast they're wonderful, and Game Over Greggy is hilarious. Is a game on Greg? I can't remember. I'm so tired. Anyway, I logged on specifically to razz him about the Vita because he's a great Vita lover, and I had a Vita, which I rarely use because I found it to be a little clunky. And so basically, I went on there specifically to razz him, and the chat was delighted with me talking trash and him pretending to overreact. And so it was really funny, and at the end, I kind of just made a joke. I was like, you know, "Xbox gives me all that free Xboxes, PlayStation never gives me free stuff. They're dead to me." And I'm literally laughing as I say this, and people literally cut that and showed it to the world as an example of why I shouldn't be doing, a recap video. Overall, an awesome, amazing experience with a game I frankly it's gotta be top it might be top 5, definitely top 10, probably top 5 of just experiences gaming, so the internet never forgets anything, and, you know, whatever. I can't be perfect all the time. I will say that I still have nothing free from PlayStation, so there you go. See? And I haven't gotten a free Xbox in probably 8 years, so there you go. Free stuff, the only thing I'm looking at is I am genuinely looking at several free things because to be honest with you, when I get things that are like promotional stuff or whatever, and usually like last year I did a big charity auction with a bunch of stuff. So I literally have a large pile of charity stuff here. I have some Sonic the Hedgehog sneakers. They're actually pretty cool. I might keep them. I haven't tried them on yet, but they're in the pile of maybe auctioning them off for charity. And then I have like a Diablo skateboard. And then I have this is probably not I have a Magic the Gathering, like, really cool limited edition thing. I have a Critical Role Happy Winter Quest, gift bag box. And, like, this is from not this winter, y'all, last winter. I've been looking at this Critical Role box since last November or December, and I'm like, "You know what? Maybe move on. Maybe don't let that sit there." And I don't even know where will somebody want this? And also, is it tacky to take something that somebody gave me for free as a holiday item that I kind of forget about on my, credenza and be like, "Hey, giving it away?" I don't know. So, also, there's literally everything else in the world on the ground. I have a PlayStation 5 I bought, and I need to hook it up because Ragnarok, get it ready for streaming, and I have a new, monitor that I wanted to put chat on, and then I have all this other stuff that I've been gathering to make a library at my kid's school. Literally, there's rugs and 5 boxes of books. No, more than 5. Ay, ay, ay. What was I gonna say? Oh, yeah, yeah. For the rest of the month, I can't talk about anything I did except that it was an incredible month. I did do okay, so I did the wonderful God of War recap. Please watch it because 'cause I'm so proud of it, and boy, oh boy, it was really just fun to act, and the set is absolutely gorgeous. I have been hosting The Walking Dead Last Mile, which is a massively interactive live event every other Friday, kind of, although there's gonna be more, especially as we get into October, November. I am streaming the game. It is a free to play on Facebook. It's very fun. It's canon with The Walking Dead comic universe, so it's very cool to have these characters dying. Most of them are dying, and you can go on and you can vote and do mini games. I will tell you right now, the map mini game is one of the worst things because it's one of those tile moving games. So you have an empty tile and it's like a 3 by 3 or a 4 by 4. I noticed they did downgrade it to a 3 by 3 because I swear nobody could probably do the 4 by 4. And I actually had some of my mods on the Discord linking me how to solve a 4 by 4 puzzle moving square thing. And I halfway through glazed over and I was just like, I can't do this. I rage quit. I do know how to do a 3 by 3 now, kind of. And I know that if you just lock in the first, the first and the side, you get a 3 by 3 in the middle. I get it. That's not enough for me. I can't do it. I've always hated those kind of puzzles. I do love the fishing mini game. So if you're playing The Walking Dead Last Mile fishing, I'm trying to get all the trophies unlocked. For some reason, I have all the legendaries and I'm still missing 2 common, which is kind of backwards, but at least I got the boot, which is the hardest one to catch. Anyway, you'll get in there. It's hard. I think it might actually it's about the same as Stardew fishing, which is, depending on your skill level, impossible or doable, but rage-inducing in a good way, in a good gamer way. Okay. So the things that I did this month work-wise were that Walking Dead Last Mile, MST3K is still releasing on the Gizmoplex.com. One of the shows that I wrote on, the Batwoman, was out, and then also the, Sumeru was another one that I did a little dance in, which some people called out. I kicked very high next to my ear, and but, for me, I watched that, I'm like, "I coulda done that better," and I had to sing live, so I'm like, I thought there was another take where I was a little better at the end. I'm like, "Ugh, just get out of your head, Felicia." But it is really, really and some of the best joke writing, really, really awesome. It's cool to be able to do the after show when you do that experience because you watch it live with the audience, and then they have, guests on. I wanna do another one maybe next time, just talking with the cast and the crew and just kinda chatting about the movie. It was really fun. Other than that, all of that I've been doing so much audio stuff, and I can't tell you anything, but I'm doing, something that's going to be released to Geeks members exclusively first, and then I will make it available to people who are not part of the Geeks, membership club. You could check all that out on my Discord. And that's been like a year in progress, and I'm so excited that we finally did some stuff. And then I did another audio thing, and then I'm prepping for another audio thing, and I'm doing research for all said audio things. So it's a lot of my voice. And if you are listening to this, you're going to be delighted to hear more of me in more professionally produced ways coming soon-ish and or next year. I watched a lot of secret stuff, and I flew to London for exactly 3 days and came back for a very awesome project that I can't talk more about, but I will say it's awesome. And I just can't, I don't know. I'm just kind of wondering where to go from here, but I'm kind of overwhelmed. So I'm like, I don't need you to go anywhere, Felicia. Just do the work that's in front of you. I haven't written a lot since May, and that's the whole summer has been so, and I think that's added to my frustration. When I write, I feel like, yeah, I did what I needed to do with that day, and I have not gotten to it. I've kind of circled a little bit, but I just, again, haven't had reliable enough childcare to get in any zone whatsoever. So I'm starting September as kind of a turning point where I might actually be able to maybe do an hour of writing a day, and I'm just like, "Is that a realistic goal? Can I even do it? It would be nice to try." And now I can't. I was kind of committed to a project, and then I'm like, "Ugh, I don't know what to do now. Have I lost enthusiasm? I don't know." So, and there's so many games that I haven't played. I am looking right here at 17 games over here I've not played that I've gotten the demo to. Two Point Campus, Kuyoyomi, LX2, Card Shark, Paparazzi, Elden Ring 4-player, Dinkum, Circus Electrique, Cats Organized Neatly, in Apex Legends, never touched it. Cult of the Lamb I have been playing a little bit. The Case of the Golden Idol demo. So I have a bunch of demos, I have a bunch of, games. I just got another code. I love the codes, but at the same time, I've bought The Sims 4 and I bought all the, extra content for like $15, still haven't been able to jump in there. So I'm having time management problems and I'm just exhausted, and it's a wonderful place to be because I'm working way more and I'm less stressed, and I'm also missing the stuff that I was really used to doing during COVID. Like all the newsletter. What happened to my newsletter? I know. I miss it too, y'all. What happened to the weekly podcast? Never gonna happen again. What happened to all my streams? I'm so tired. And my kid is really going through some stuff, and I just wanna be with her as much as I can so I can't ditch her as much at night. I wanna pick her up from school. I wanna drop her off. It's just there's no balance right now, and I know that, and we all just gotta get back in our groove from the summer, and it's not gonna happen till October, and then it's Christmas. So, yeah, all good. Um, Also, I did Emerald City Comic Con, and that was really fun, except I had to cut my trip short. I'm gonna be doing FanX in Salt Lake City this month, and I'm doing the same thing, a Friday, Saturday jaunt. And yeah, I really would have loved to stay more for Emerald City. I wanted to say Sunday because it truly is. People ask me what my favorite con is, and I will always say San Diego because it just has so many memories. Dragon Con. I love New York City just because it's in New York and it's just, Javits has its own flavor. Um, I really love MCM London, which is great, but also Emerald City it's top 5. Top 5, I don't know why, I just love Seattle. I think Seattle's trying to lure me there. Again, it was perfect weather and sunny. I know they're trying to fool me. They're gonna seduce me and then go, "Hey, seasonal disaffected disorder much?" That's what it's gonna do. I'm gonna move there, and then it'll be cloudy for 2 years. So, just step on back, Seattle. You're pretty, but you're not that pretty. Get back. So yeah, it's really good. Just a shout out to, if you want to shout out, there's shout outs at rally.io/creators/geeks. I know that that space is a weird one right now, and it's fine. You being around here because is a wonderful thing. So that's all I care about. So whether you get a shout out or not, you're the best. Okay, moving on. We have a book club, and I just uploaded the book club for August. I apologize, it totally slipped my mind. Finlay Donovan is Killing It by Elle Cosimano was Bonnie Burton's favorite. It was very good. It was a fun kind of chick. I don't want to insult it by saying chick lit, but it was kind of chick lit, but it was really fun and very funny. Loved it. And this geek book for this month for September is Memory of Empire by Arcady Martine, and it's like the opposite of Finlay Donovan of Killing It. Super dense. I will say that this is one of the better sci-fi novels I've read in a long time, and you just have to get past the prologue and the first chapter. It is a lot to get through. But one and I kind of was like, "Oof, I'm sorry I picked it." And then once I broke through that initial world building, I was like, "Oh, this is amazing." It's like a mystery, amazing world building, amazing characters. Oh, it's great. So I already downloaded the sequel, but I'm like, should I read it before we discuss it? I don't want to spoil anything. Anyway, um, I also have been watching some TV with my spare time. I mean, we are in the renaissance of being a fantasy nerd, y'all. Like with Sandman and Lord of the Rings, the Rings of Power, and House of Dragons. And then we have She-Hulk and everything else going on. Boy, oh boy, it's a good time to be a consumer, right? I mean, I'm having some existential angst about what life is supposed to be about and why during my spare time I'm just looking for things to buy and put in my house, and yet I feel smothered by possessions, and I feel every time I throw a piece of plastic out, I'm like putting a nail in my coffin so that when and if I go to heaven or some kind of like otherworldly place, whoever's guarding the gate is like, "Whoa, how many, single-use plastics did you have? Go to hell," literally. And so I've just been composting and washing everything obsessively, and then I read that 90% of plastic isn't even, recycled, even if you put in the recycling thing, and then I started tearing up, and boy, it's, I ate 2 donuts with a lot of sugar, and that's why I'm super hopped up today, but it is a lot of guilt and helplessness, and I just whew. Yeah, St. Peter's accepts carbon offset credits, good one. I will say that, uh going back to rewinding to actually talking about television, I love The Lord of the Rings, The Rings of Power, and as I think I told you guys, I was rereading, The Lord of the Rings leading up to here, and I just read the Silmarillion, and I mean, I had read it, like, a long time ago, but I think I sort of slogged through it, and now with the context, and especially after watching the first couple episodes, I soared through it. I actually went back and I reread a bunch of chapters with the new context, and it brought everything so vividly to life in a beautiful and I'm like, "Oh, so that's what it," and then, "Oh, if you're a nerd, man, this is great." And if I don't even understand why there's controversy around this. It's just it boggles my mind to be that people would be upset about changing skin color of people and shapes. It's like, are you for real? Ugh. The entitlement is enraging me, and it's like, how awesome is it that people nowadays can get fantasy on television that's, like, not just, public access TV kind of MST3K stuff, you know what I'm saying? Like, fantasy and genre is reigns in Hollywood now, and, if you guys have seen all the video game stuff that is being optioned and made, Fallout and stuff, like, you know that the haters are gonna be out in droves, but they're only, in the thousands, you know what I'm saying? And we're getting these things brought to life with millions and millions of dollars the best way possible, and it's like, I feel so lucky to not only see everything happening in like, my life and just being able to watch this on my huge screen TV because that's the way you should watch The Rings of Power. It is so big. It is so wonderful. But also, um, just be able to, I don't know. I'm just gonna stop it. It makes me it makes me just upset, you know? It makes me upset for people and, it frustrates me, and then it's like, why should I pay attention to the people who are the haters and the very small minority, are getting way too much attention, and we just have to fight that human impulse that if we get attacked by one person in a if somebody attacked me in real life, one person, I would be like, "Ugh," and if 1,000 people attack me, I'd be terrified, right? But the online world is not the equivalent, but our bodies or our psychology, I think, react in the same way, and that's I don't know, at least I do. For example, just the body of my work on the internet. One person doesn't like it. Can you can I just talk to you in person to let you know that I'm not a bad person? I don't really need free things. See? The fact that I even care is ridiculous. So I don't know. Anywho, Rings of Power is incredible. I cannot wait to see more. And it really inspired me to go and dive into the source material and even on a deeper level. And it brought some things that were kind of dry to life in a wonderful way in my mind and on screen. So, love it. Also, House of Dragons. I mean, I was a huge Game of Thrones fan until the last season. As you know, not so satisfactory, and I don't like to, put down anyone's work. I know how hard it is to do any kind of television or film. Getting anything made in this I mean, I tried to go around and sell so many big science fiction and fantasy properties, so many video games I had the rights to when I had a development deal. Nobody wanted to have anything to do with any of it, and, cut to 5 years ago 5 years later, everything that I tried to pitch or most of it, got sold or optioned. We don't know if it's gonna get made, but definitely it's an area of interest now, and it's, like, kind of awesome. So, that said, House of Dragons is really scratching that itch of, like, I really love the costumes, the dragon. I'm not so gr I mean, the one thing is like, "Ooh, this it's there's a little incest." It makes me I know that happened, but I understand. But at the same time, the acting is so great. I'm willing to, it's okay. I'll deal with it. I'll deal with it. Um, it's a lot of Daenerys heads, Daenerys wigs. There is a lot of wigs. But for some reason, seeing Matt Smith in a Daenerys wig doesn't bother me that much. I don't know why, but I think and I will reveal, like, I was a casual Matt Smith Doctor Who. I mean, I'm sorry, David Tennant is my Who. That's my formative Who. So when I was like, Matt Smith, look at this guy. He's coming in. He's so handsome. And I watched but I was never like, oh, Matt Smith. He was not my Doctor Who. Okay. I'm old. Not my Doctor Who. I will say that Tom Lank and I will be getting back to the undressing. We are going to start recording next week, and we will be doing one show all the way through. We are weighing whether to do The Sandman or House of Dragons. So we haven't decided. We probably might do both. And so I will get to that next week. You will figure it out. I need to text him tonight and see which one he wants to do. I really want to do The Sandman, but I'm actually willing to do House of Dragon because of the wigs. I know that Tom will have a lot to say about the wigs. And here I did not read the source material, the prequel, because I don't generally like prequels, but I actually like them I like prequels on screen, but I don't like reading prequels because I have that tacky habit of going to the last page and just kind of being like, what's going on? Who survives? Okay, and spoiling myself. So it's almost better that watching the House of Dragons, I kind of know what happens, but I don't know the details, and I'm enjoying the show unfurling it for myself. I'm sorry, I'm kind of stuttering, but I had 2 donuts today. I'm just running high on life. All right. For games, I've been playing Plate Up, which is an awesome 4-player online co-op kind of food game, which there's no way I'll ever make it past the level. I'll never ever make it. And I've been playing Cult of the Lamb, which is very fun, and it's a single player, but it's kind of like a rogue / Animal Crossing for cult leaders. And it's really cute and really good, so highly recommend those 2 things. I don't know. Great. I know there is going to be a new Doctor Who. Somebody in my chat just said that. I try not to pay attention to chat when I'm doing felicitations, but hey, it is very exciting. So yeah, I think I will be really into this new Who. I was not so into Jody. I watched listen, casual, okay? But I could say that I'm a David Tennant super fan for Doctor Who. That's my doctor. Whenever I see him or Billy Pi I'm like, I see Billy Piper sometimes at, um, at cons, and I get the shivers. I get so excited. Anyway, okay, let's do a couple of questions. We're gonna cut it short a little bit, but, Twitter. Damiel likes Dame Likes Metal asks, "Do you like my dog, Artie?" Alright, and they link their dog. I'd say, yeah, kinda. They have a different color eye. They're kinda like a Boston Terrier. I'm gonna describe this dog to you. Boston Terrier, different color eyes. So one's kind of amber, one's blue. That's a little bit, it's interesting. It makes the dog, like, memorable in an interesting way. Boston Terriers, one of my best friends had a Boston Terrier, and she, had, like, a twisted leg from like, an accident that didn't heal right, and so I always kinda picture Boston Terriers being very delicate and sort of limping. Your dog looks healthy. Artie, I'd say yeah, and Hardee's was my favorite burger when I was about 5 or 6, so yeah, okay, I'll give you that dog. Average, above average dog. Okay. Mark Tweet Mark on Twitter asks, "If the zombie apocalypse broke out, what is your survival plan? Who's on your survivor squad? What is everyone's role?" Okay, this is an interesting question because I have been doing The Walking Dead Last Mile. Been asked a lot of questions. Not my survival plan. I will say that I don't think I'd survive very well. Um, I have no skills, very few skills that are actually applicable to real life. I used to be able to knit, kinda. I am good at weeding, but not growing. I, can't repair anything electric and or gas powered. I could boil water. That's about the extent to my I don't know. I have nothing. So, my survival plan would be to somehow find, maybe one of those, survivalist groups or one of those anachronistic, fighting, things, and they might know me and be a fan of my work and be like, "Hey, she's dead weight, but I did like the guild." So that's kind of my survival plan. I'm gonna just, my existence would be dependent on the good favor of people who liked my work in the past, because God knows I wouldn't do any work in the future that would be useful for anyone. I don't have any bow hunting skills. No, I mean, computer hacking, we won't even have electricity, right? I'm too old for, to be repropagating the human race. I had to use IVF, so I'm not fertile. Yeah, I'm okay at cleaning. I do vacuum well, but that won't be really an issue. I don't know. Again, I think "I don't know" is the name of the game this podcast. That's my life. I do subscribe to a lot of cheap Nordic houses, and my dream would be to sort of have a Swedish cottage as a backup in case the world okay, I will tell you something depressing that actually I think about quite a bit, especially when I'm throwing out pieces of plastic with great guilt. There was an MIT study done up in the late '70s, and they basically predicted societal collapse by 2040. And they just reran those numbers recently, I think within the last 10 years or whatever, and it actually confirms all of those problems. They say, "Yeah, you know what? That thing in the '70s, it was right." All of their projections, all of their predictions is that, yeah, we are on the verge of a societal collapse, and now what does that mean? I don't know what a societal collapse means. I mean, you could see the Roman Empire shattered into pieces. Um, yeah, I don't know. I think it's a lot about how, food production is going to be affected, especially by climate change. One of the most haunting things I remember, my grandfather was a very, very smart, person. He had dozens of patents. He helped invent the laser. He was a nuclear physicist, very brilliant guy. And on his deathbed, I was asking him, what he's most worried about, and I was kind of asking in a personal way. And, no, it was the last couple months of his life in the hospital. He was, doing okay, but definitely on a downward, trajectory. And he's like, "Oh, global warming. I think it's gonna destroy the Earth." And I was like, "Oh!" And that kinda haunts me. He's like, "I don't think people are taking it, seriously enough." And this y'all, this was 20 years ago. So I mean, I don't think there's any reversing it now, and now we wait and we endure, and they said that it's gonna be 125 degrees, over 125 degrees in a lot of the world, and how will people grow things? How will the earth grow things that we need to eat? So, I have this on my mind a lot, and I know this is probably not the topic of podcasty-ness that you'd like to hear, but, yeah, just turn your tap off. So uplifting tonight. Okay. So anyway, and hopefully my brother will be nearby because he's actually competent and he could ski and he knows mountains. He's if you know him, if you've been following his Instagram, he has been hiking like above the 12,000-meter line. So, uh, you know, maybe he knows how to survive in the woods. All the people in the chat are saying thanks for cheering me up. I sorry, y'all, listen. Humans are very adaptable. So somehow, hopefully we'll adapt but it's just let's not talk about it anymore. Lucifer asks, you recently shared a photo on Discord of a living room photo I could assume suffered a mass destructive event. How long did it take the room to recover? Okay, so I shared a picture of my daughter's playroom after having COVID, and I just could not get myself to clean. And I'm not kidding, every square inch of the playroom was covered in stickers or toys or anything. And that's why my back won't heal. I'm constantly bending down to clean up the hurricane that is a 5-year-old getting into stuff. Now, I've been insisting that she help me clean up some and put away something before we move on to the next. And she's so curious and her mind is so active, and I want her to make a robot costume using all of the ingredients in her artist, cabinet. But at the same time, I'm so tired of cleaning. I just don't want to do it. And anyway, whatever. I don't know. So yes, Lucifer, my house, and this is kind of why I feel really, I think our consumerist culture, what is it doing for us? We're having to work to buy new things to put them in our house, to get rid of stuff from our house in order to live functionally. But then we're always looking for things to buy to put in our house. um, it is a mentality that we kind of just bought into, that we need all these things, that we need to surround ourselves constant with new things. We need the stimulation. We need to buy. Like, do we need that shiny eyeshadow palette that I bought on whim because I really just wanted shiny eyeshadow? And will I ever wear shiny eyeshadow? I never wear eyeshadow anyway. Yeah, it's all good. And we don't make things that are repairable anymore. Yes, that's a good point. Like my dad used to repair our car. You can't repair your car nowadays. My dad literally his dream is to just retire somewhere so he can fix things around his house. He does his own plumbing. He's a doctor. I was like, you're gonna hurt your hand. Yeah. And no disconnecting from the internet, which kind of follows into this next question. Richard Gagnon asks, if you could get a neural implant that lets you interact with the internet by thought, would you do it? Richard, you have the best questions. I will tell you right now that I know that all of our lives would be happier, more fulfilling, more satisfied with ourselves if we were not connected by the internet. Because on a certain level, a lot of these connections, and I will not say that because I do have some connections with people online where I do genuinely feel like we are great friends. I would show up for them. I'm concerned about them as a person in general, especially at being somebody who broadcasts all the time and the toxic feedback that I've talked about a lot. Even just getting a high profile video and then worrying about being high profile and what that might invite into my house and my home, and then worrying I need to have more people in order to keep working in this, you know, recursive sort of environment that I've kind of trapped myself into. As long as I'm doing the work that I love, which I am, that's worth it all. But like, then I've spoken about this. I'm getting trapped trying to get the work to do the numbers to get the work and not even worrying about the work anymore. That's where everything falls apart. Anyway, I will say, that no, I would not want a neural implant because the balance of real life and the online world is very important. And I love my online community. I love making this podcast. That popular, but it's popular enough. I love it. You guys who listen, you know me way too well. I'm sorry. But that sort of like mass connection always online. No, it's not very great. Also, you're being tracked, everything you do. You are a number and your product, and you're somebody to be advertised to. So it's really not even the mental, like being connected to other people online, which is the problem because that's been a part of my life my whole life, and I in many aspects enjoy that. Got me through COVID, that's for sure. On the other hand, it's the companies and everything that exploits who we are and treats us like we aren't real. We're just literally something to be sold. We're a dollar machine for the companies that track where we are and then sell our information. And, whoever can abuse that in political ways and all this stuff. Like, that's the scary part. So, no, I don't want anyone tracking me. My phone already does that. Thank you. um, let's see. All right. You know what? This will be my last question. Clavesmill asks, with all that you've done, accomplished, inspired people with, and smashed so far, what are your big dreams, big burning ambitions, and goals you still want to accomplish? Um, so it's okay to say be happy and be an incredible mom because it's very evident that you accomplish that every day with your always smiling, fearless, rebellious spirit with a generous heart. Thank you, Please Mel. That's very sweet. This is a really good question because I've been so busy lately, I haven't had a chance to think about that. And part of me knows that I told you I recently got back on my Lexapro. I'm on kind of a higher dose right now. I'm gonna probably, like, tone it down a little bit because I do feel kind of a little foggy. I'm sleeping great, I love it, but I don't have any overriding ambition. I know that the taking the anti-anxiety pill does curb that sort of insatiable hunger to get somewhere. At the same time, I think it's very healthy to kind of unhook myself from that because what is that ambition if it is only being driven by neurosis and anxiety? I don't wanna be driven by that anymore. I need to f and I have been really lucky in finding that a lot, especially last year when I was on Lexapro. I actually found a couple of creative projects that I was doing for the sake of creating and not because of this sort of, I need to be seen by people or be ambitious for ambition's sake or, need to be acknowledged or a career thing. It's for, like, I'm making something because I need to make it, and that's where I just wanna be in life, and so I don't know exactly what my next project is, but I'm in the middle of like 3 or 4 that I've been talking about for like 2 years, and I'm actually making them. So, there's a little part of my brain that especially when you asked this question, I was like, "Yeah, I can see my brain is starting to hunt. What is your next thing? Is it NaNoWriMo?" Because last year I couldn't do it because of a bunch of other things, and I have on my bucket list to finish, a novel. Could I just, like, really grind it out but in November, December? That would be, like, my ideal goal, but, we'll see. We'll be doing NaNoWriMo, like, I have those prompts that I wrote last year, and so I'll make another NaNoWriMo, Discord channel, and hopefully all of us can at least have a creative goal that we're kinda working on for November, that we try to scratch every day. I think that's a good goal, so who knows? I definitely, am excited. I guess Cleavesmill, to answer your question, my dream would be to go back to acting and find a new persona and new roles that I wouldn't have expected because I've grown a lot and my anxiety's under control and I'm a lot more certain about who I am as an artist and I'm kind of excited to see that. But I also having the experience of being kind of behind the scenes, I kind of have this itch about, like, being in charge, being directing something. I don't know what it is, whether it's an audio thing or an on-camera thing, and it would be something I need to write myself. I don't know. I would love to do a woman show. So those are kind of like the no there's 7 things. Novel, one-woman show, directing something, getting back into acting. Those are kind of like all the things that are in my mind kind of out there because I'm just so happy with all the hosting stuff, and it really provides stability for me to kinda think about things I really want to do and things I would do for I can work on for $2 for several months in order to see it through, but it really is about, like, setting that goal and seeing it through. So we'll see. Yeah, okay, well, thank you for asking questions, y'all, and thank you for watching my stuff and supporting me in all ways, and I do have really fun things that I'm working on that are smaller projects that are super close to my heart, and I've been talking about them for I think one of the things I've been talking about for 3 years now. It's finally happening, y'all, and I probably should just shut up and not talk about any of the things until it's close, but then I had this kind of paranoia that people think I'm just hanging out. Nah, you don't think I'm just hanging out. There's no way. All right. Well, I'll if you guys want to join any of the other Geeks hangouts, I do a creativity hour, mostly reading tarot cards badly for people. Ryan and I will be chatting this month, doing the book club about Memory of Empire by Arcady Martine. Lots of really fun weekly chats on the Discord. And that's it. Thanks a lot. Bye. Well, thank you. I don't know how to download this. Oh, here we go. Stop recording. How do I?